You're listening to Parasearch UK Radio. News, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. Parasearch UK Radio.
The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch UK Radio or its affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to The Spirit Dimension with your host, Kerry Greenaway, right here on Parasearch Radio.
Good evening and welcome to the Spirit Dimension. My name is Kerry Greenaway and on a Sunday we like to embrace the more spiritual side of things on occasions. Tonight is no different. I've got my lovely co-host Clare Hinks in the studio with me. Good evening, Clare, how are you?
Good evening, Kerry. I'm fine, thank you. I'm very happy to be here tonight.
Good.
I'm looking forward to our guest.
I know, right? Have you had a good week?
Yeah, quite good. Busy, steady. How about you?
Not too bad. Well, I've got a fantastic lady coming into the studio tonight. Her name is Angela Pownall, and she is Angela's angel. She works with angel healing energy, don't you, Angela? Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Yes, I do.
So would you like to tell everybody a little bit more about what you actually do in the field for us, please?
Okay. The main thing I do, I channel angel energy, healing energy. So I work with people who are ill or who have maybe some mental stress or even mental illness, as well as other physical ailments. I channel that energy, and I'm either working at a distance or working face to face in my healing room. I channel angel readings for people. I run workshops where I teach psychic development. Sometimes I do one-to-ones, and I do workshops where if you have a particular issue in your life that you want to deal with, say something from your past, then I'll do a Skype workshop where I help that person to deal with that issue, to get rid of it, to move on from it, to heal from it. I sell crystals. I do a lot of things. Yeah.
You do a lot of things encompassing this energy that you're talking about. How does angel energy differ from like Reiki or something like that?
Now, when I was in my 20s, I started being able to use my own energy, and actually that was when I started working with the angels, but I didn't really get it. I didn't really understand what was going on. But a good friend of mine said, look, don't use your own energy. It will drain you and run you down. Get Reiki. So I got the Reiki, went to a Reiki master, learnt everything, and I was using Reiki, and then angels told me that I was given energy to use, and I should be using it, and I shouldn't be using the Reiki. So that I was, I should use the power that I've been given. So actually, I'd only used the Reiki on myself at that point. I can't really say what the difference is because I don't use it, and it was a long while ago. And
so, what did you say? It was like a little bit of a stepping stone, really, to make you realise. Because they say that the Reiki energy has got a different sort of vibration, hasn't it? It's very connecting. It's very connecting. So, did it help you to realise your actual gift by having the Reiki? Do you think?
I think when they told me use the power we've given you, then I realised how important it was, and then but. I remember thinking that the Reiki was quite cool. I mean, I remember the first night when I got Reiki, and I'd gone to my mum's house in London and stayed the night so I could go to that Reiki, workshop and get the Reiki, be attuned. And I was sleeping in a spare room, so I was lying there, and in the dark room, and I looked at my hands, and there was a blue light coming from my hands, just like a light bulb. From my hands, and that was the same day that I received the Reiki attunement. So it never happened again, just that night and for that moment. So I thought, well, this Reiki is pretty cool, it's got to be quite powerful. But again, I only used it on myself, wasn't really sure all of what I was doing, in all honesty, and I wasn't very consistent. What made me push on with the angel healing was the angels basically giving me a good kick up the bum. Which sometimes you get pushed to keep going. You feel that push.
Yeah,
it's time
you do.
To move forward. It was like that, really. I don't. People all say, "Oh, is it like Reiki?" Or they ask me when they're coming for healing, "Is it going to be like Reiki?" And I said, "I don't know." I always say, "I don't know." I don't, because I don't want to seem like, oh no, mine is better than Reiki. No, I'm not. You know what I mean? It would be rude of me, and I'm not going to do that. I have no idea. I just know.
That is one thing that is very transparent about yourself. Is you're very, very humble in the work that you do. But the work you do is an incredibly powerful experience. From some of the testimonies and the people that I know that have had this work with you, they say it is second to none. It's an incredibly powerful experience. But you've managed to maintain very humble and very compassionate about other methods of working throughout your own personal journey. That's quite challenging at times, though, do you not think?
Well, it's not that I don't see things and think, oh my God, what are they doing? I do sometimes. I'm not, but I would not dare, because I don't believe in limiting thoughts. Like, this is happening to me, right? I'm just this person, and I'm experiencing all these things. Who am I to say that another person isn't experiencing something amazing? And when people say, "Oh no, that can't be true. That person's a fake," or a oil seller. What do they call that? The
snake oil salesman.
Snake oil seller.
Yeah.
I can't say that because this is weird in many ways. This is happening to me. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So many things are happening to other people, but sometimes I'm surprised. But I would not openly challenge people or say horrible things to them. And I tell you another thing. When I first started coming to Facebook, because the angels pushed me to be more open and work with the public, so I came to Facebook, and I can't remember what year it was, but anyway, I started joining little groups, healers and things like this, and met some really interesting people. I would offer free healing to the people in the groups. I had a dream about a man who was a member of the group that I did not know. I think he was more like a dormant member. And in that dream, the angel showed he and I sitting, watching a movie of our lives, not our lives now, but our previous lives, and showed that we both were very good healers in the past, and we became very, very proud of what we were doing and what we were achieving, and through that pride, we spoilt our work, and we had to take a back step. And then in this life, the importance was to be humble about it, and not to get carried away with ourselves or boastful or show off or anything like that. I think that I I took that seriously because I really want to do this work. I don't want to mess up, and I want to keep going higher and higher if that's what they want to do with me. So it's something that really has to happen sincerely and deeply. I can't, just fake it.
No, this was a life lesson that you took, a past life lesson actually, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That you've brought forward into this incarnation, and to carry on that work, you've actually recognised a past life lesson, and it does. It's been very integral in the work that you do now. You are always very, very humble, and I love that about you actually, because you do see so many people that are they feel unattainable. They feel like you can't not touch them, but open with them. To be open with somebody, and to be a healer, you have to be allowing that to flow, don't you?
You do. You have to love. You have to love, and you've got to mean it. Because I don't know. I don't know how it would work without love. Love being there. You have to care enough to make that person who's come to you for help get better.
So a minute ago you said, when somebody asks you what will the healing be like, you say, I don't know. I can relate to that, because when you trust in spirit and another dimension, angels, whatever it is, you just have to trust, and you don't know, because no reading is the same, no two readings are the same, I guess no two healings are the same, so you just wait and see what happens.
Do
you find that you have the way that you work, is it quite similar? Do you have the same routine to kind of get you where you need to be, for channeling and stuff?
Yeah, I find that very easy. That part's easy, so I know what I'm going to do. I know it's just about being relaxed and just call the angels, even though they're always here. I feel it's respectful as well, not just to expect them to just be there. So I call them in and ask them to please work with me. And do you have specific angels that you call upon, Angela? I will call specific angels. It also, if I'm working with a special issue or one I haven't worked with before, then I'll ask if there are any angels who can help and who will come forward. And you'll see different angels will come forward. Also, another thing that just that sounds very funny, just happened, but I started during certain healings. I would work with doctors, psychic doctors, and I've done work where we've done a few operations and helped people like that. And I just channeled that energy, and I can see them doing what they got to do. Or sometimes I can't see anything at all. I'm just out of the picture, and they're getting on with it. As long as that person gets off the healing bed and says, I feel good, I'm happy. Because I've learnt you have to have faith, which is what they taught me. That sometimes people will say, did you see my angel? Can you see my angel right now? Or what does your angel look like? Or are there angels in the room right now? And in the beginning, when I first started, I was seeing angels everywhere, But as the work that I had to do progressed, I saw them less, but I felt them more. And I could hear them more and immediately feel the presence. So then when I asked them why, they said, that is my faith building. That it is an effort actually for them to show themselves to us. And it's not necessary for me to see them all the time. And sometimes I just see them in light or colour and like that. But the faith part, sorry, you were saying about faith. When they told me that, I could understand that, to always want to see them, to make sure they're there, that's an insecurity of my own, and I need to just chill and just have faith. And they never let me down, so I'm good. I'm all right with it.
That is something I was wondering, was is it when angels come forward, it's a very specific energy signature, which is completely different from like a spirit energy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I've always wondered whether it's different for everybody who has that encounter with the angels, or whether or not it is the same. It's one of those hard things to explain, isn't it? It is so difficult to explain the difference, but the energy signature is so different, and it is so pure. That's the only way of describing it, isn't it?
Yeah, I like that. My experience with spirit, again in my early 20s, was I found them very invasive, because I was very open and couldn't control it. I didn't really know what to do with any of that energy, and I was just always being kept awake by spirit, asking me to pass messages on, or just wanting attention, wanting to speak, that kind of thing. And that at that point, I remember feeling their energy was, I could feel when they were approaching. I would feel a bit out of control of myself. I would feel colder. I didn't feel, I'd feel a little bit, I don't think I was afraid of them, but there was a feeling of fear. Something, I don't know how to explain that.
I can relate to what you're saying a little bit, because I've been in that position. I've got my spirit team in place now, so they, I can say, hey, back off. I'm not. I can't do this now. I'm doing something else, or I'm not in the right headspace to do this now. But I've also had a little bit of experience with angels, and the vibration is completely different, isn't it? It's completely, and what you say about it being more peaceful.
Yes.
100%. It's like it washes over you, whereas a spirit, a loved one, or a spirit person will come forward. It can feel quite invasive, because they just they can walk right into your energy, right into your vibration, and go, bang, I'm in the room. Whereas angels are a little bit more embracing, aren't they, and a more gentle, loving. It's a complete love. It's a complete wash of love.
Yeah.
Is it fear or is it awe, do you think, because of that energy signature difference? What do we think on that, ladies?
Fear of angels or fear of spirit? Which one?
When we're talking angel energy, you said it scared you a little. So is
No,
it?
no, I was talking spirit.
Oh,
scared.
sorry.
When I was much younger, spirit scared me, because I didn't know what was going on. I had to close myself down and then later on I learned more about spirit and their needs and like that. But I'm not fearful of the angel energy, no.
It's more of an awe feeling, though, isn't it?
Yes,
because
definitely.
It's so strong, and if they've put their full force, I suppose, or their full energy vibration on you, it would be quite overwhelming.
It's I don't know how much of their energy I'm getting. I would I like it. I really like it. I like that energy. It's very soothing. I'd say that was a great word to use. It can lull me into a deep relaxation, which I really, really like. So, when I'm giving healing, I feel like I'm also getting healing. It's that good. But I don't know. I didn't want to. I was very put off working as a medium work, because I didn't really understand what was going on, and also I was raised as a Christian and as a child, and there was a lot of scary stories of ghosts and this and that, and I was a little bit freaked out, to be honest. But then when I saw them, I wasn't as afraid as what had been preached to or spoken to about, and then it became confusing. Well, should I be doing this? I shouldn't be doing that. It was all really, it was a bad time, I'd say, my early 20s working in this energy. But as an adult, an older person now, I'm in my late 40s now, and then I feel when I'm healing, sometimes spirit does come in. Somebody's relative may come in. It's not as frightening, but the energy definitely is different. And I'm not afraid. They come in and they'll stand and watch and just say something sometimes, and they leave. It's more peaceful, more controlled.
But everything happens for a reason as well. So, the fact that you were seeing Spirit in your earlier days when you were starting to feel more aware, it's just part of the process, part of the building you for something else process. Because now, latterly, or now, presumably you're much more experienced with what you're doing, and you're more established and with your angel healing and everything. So Spirit can come in and they can visit, and you can pass on that message where it's appropriate without feeling like you've been invaded.
Yes.
Because you've now got the tools to actually go, oh, hang on a minute, I don't think I'm quite ready for this, or, oh, great, come in, or, you've got more control, whereas back then you didn't.
That's true. And now I admire mediums now. I think sometimes, I hear the messages that they bring through to people, and I think it's really amazing. It just wasn't for me at that time.
It's stepping stones, though. Your niche is the angels, and I can hear it in your voice. It makes me go all like, oh my god, I wish I lived nearer to you. Because I'm sitting here like, listening to your lovely, soothing, calming voice, and I'm like, yeah, she's totally got angels wrapped around her right now. It's lovely.
I love Angela. I think she's brilliant. I've been watching her for a few years now on the socials, and the work that you do and the work you put out there. And I first came across you because you used to, I say used to because you still do, work very closely with crystal energy as well, don't you?
Yeah, I love crystals, yeah.
Yeah, they're amazing. You've got some amazing crystals in your collection, I would just like to say. And recently you've just bought yourself an absolutely amazing piece, haven't you?
Oh, my crown.
Your lapis lazuli crown.
Oh, so I was just looking at your crown.
Tell us a little bit about that, because it's quite a statement piece for one, isn't it? And you use that when you're doing your healing, and it's quite a phenomenal energy piece in itself, isn't it?
It really is, because we work with lapis lazuli, but this is a lot of lapis lazuli to have on top of your head, right? Mm-hmm. And I felt the difference immediately of them putting it on, and I thought, no, this is wild. I ran to find the Book of Stones to see what they said in there about it, and they said that Robert Simmons, he said that lapis lazuli brings out your inner queen or king. Okay, It brings that energy out, and I tell you, it does. I felt fantastic. I feel fantastic when I wear it. I feel really good. I'm just like, no, I don't think I should take this off. Ever.
just go around Tesco in your lapis lazuli.
Go. Why not? Get petrol. I really liked it. First day I was having laundry in the garden, and my garden is right next to the where I drive the car into the back of the house, so people can go by, they can see me standing there in a little patch of grass hanging my laundry, and the neighbours were walking by just looking at me, smiling like, okay, that's what we do around here, and I just nodded back like, yes, this is what we do.
Lovely.
So if you want to have a look at the crown, if you would like to go and have a look at the crown, I've shared Angela's page into the chat, so click on the link, click on the link, so you can go and have a look at it while you still listen to us, obviously, and you're going to see what a phenomenal piece this is. You actually had that made for you, didn't you?
Yeah, I had it made for me. The lovely young lady, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to remember her business name, because I know her by name. So, Mama Makes Magic? Is that what she's called? Sorry.
No, that's okay.
She's on Facebook and she's on Instagram. Mama's Magic with a K at the end, and she's fantastic. Her hands are magical. She puts the crystals together, and it's the second crown I've had from her. The first one was an aura quartz, but this is the bee's knees. I'm looking at it across the room, and I'm like, every time I look at it, I love it.
It is beautifully made. I will say that it is. I see a lot of handmade stuff on the market, but this one is very, very beautiful. I would like to say that. So, how do you use crystals in your healing sessions as well? Don't you?
I do. If I'm doing distance healing, especially, I will make grids for the client. I will just meditate and just pull out what I feel is needed. Make a grid, take a photograph. I'll put energy into it, healing energy, and I'll send the photograph to them so they can also meditate on the picture of the grid and receive the energies from it. But it really intensifies a healing session to use the crystal grids. And sometimes, I'll lay crystals around the healing bed if they're here, or on top of them, or underneath them. Depends how they want to lay. But I really find such a powerful lift when I'm adding healing energy onto a crystal grid. I've made crystal grids that have made me feel like I have to go and lie down. That's how strong the crystals are. They can kind of knock you, shake you a bit. But they work. They do great things.
They certainly do.
So can I just ask you how did you talked about your where your journey started, and feeling the angel energy, but what about the crystals then? Is that something that's just progressed gradually, or did that come sort of quite full on as well?
Crystals, again, I used to I was something I was just attracted to and buying lots of them, and I had like some kind of plastic toolkit full of them, and I just liked to sit and hold them. I didn't really have much. I didn't know what I liked about them so much, or rather what I was doing with them again, but I enjoyed being with them. That energy was resonating nicely with me. And then I had this case of crystals. I was living in India, and then when I was leaving to come back, I thought, I don't want to carry all this on the plane, and I sold all my crystals to a lady. A French lady was living there also. She took my crystals. But when I came back I was in Glasgow at the time, I just felt, what have I done? But I started again another collection. And the second time when I had them in my life, I totally got it. And I started making crystal grids without knowing that what I was really doing. I'd never seen one. I felt directed to put them together in that order that I was doing. And I was sending photographs of them to a friend. And he said, these are crystal grids. And I said, well, tell me about them, because I just felt that this is what the angels are pushing me to do. And because at that point I was doing world healing, just sending healing out I would do people in the building, people in the street, people in the town, people in the country, people in the world, like that, extend my healing out. And those grids were sometimes huge and really just, they were just channeled energy. I can't claim to have made those grids per se. I was directed.
Well, they make themselves sometimes, don't they, I find?
Definitely. They know who wants to work with who, on what and why. Sometimes you don't know why you're doing it, but then once it's finished, you just look and you feel it and you understand it, you get it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, well, having worked extensively grid work myself, it's one of the strangest experiences, I suppose, in regards to energy work, because it is so... it evolves through you and how it feels, and if you pick up a crystal, it's the wrong crystal. It's just just feel, and you can't explain it. It's one of those when you try to explain it to somebody, you can talk somebody through a process, but until you start doing it for yourself, you don't understand. It's one of those, you need to do it to understand it, right?
Yes, definitely. Try it, don't deny it.
Yeah, but that's kind of an ethos, isn't it? Sometimes you just have to give it a go, see how it feels. If it doesn't work for you, then try something else, because that might work for you better. But whenever I've been pulled to make a grid, it's like sometimes, like you said, you don't always have a set intention. It's the crystals guiding you, or an energy guiding you, that's pulling the energy forces together into the grid formation. And other times you'll go in with a specific set intention and then evolve a grid to a specific intention. It's all very dependent, isn't it?
And they are just, the end result is always amazing. Always, it's also so very artistic. It's just amazing. When I make them, I don't think, I don't go always for the most beautiful stones or whatever, I just pick what I'm told to pick, and then I look at it and I just think, oh, that's gorgeous. It's just amazing how they just all work together and bring such beauty with their healing as well. Very nice.
Oh, I totally agree with that. So do you have a particular crystal that you've worked with sort of extensively over a long period of time that's like your favourite?
Oh, wow. Which is my favourite child of the three that I've got? It's like that. And which is my favourite crystal of the thousands in the house?
I know, right? Hard question.
You need to ask her the same question and see if she can answer it.
Exactly. Let's all answer one by one. I can say, like, right now, lapis lazuli is lighting my fire. And, I love tektites, and I love moldavite, and I love anestials, and I love rose quartz, and I just love any clear quartz with inclusions, and I love selenite, and I love agates, and I love
you're going into groups now, darling.
So back to the question, it's all of them.
All of them.
All of the above and more.
Even the little scruffy ones, I love them. Larimar, everybody.
So,
great.
All right, I've got a question then. So if I came to you and said, well, I'm been connecting with the angels and I feel like I need to do some gridding, and I'm a bit overwhelmed by this whole connecting with angels thing, but I feel really drawn to the crystals. What would you say to me? Like, what crystal would you say, try this, guide you with this?
Well, I always say, whatever you have in your kit is what you use. Those have come to you for a purpose. It's not always about just trying to sell somebody a crystal. So it's not, I just say, what have you got?
Yes.
And so I've asked people to bring their crystal kits with them. Some, if they're manageable, a small kit or just starting out. And then I've taught people, how to make the grids. I can't teach them how to make the grids. I've taught them how to get into a state to make the grids. So I would encourage you, to relax, to open yourself up, to ground, to protect, and then just tell you to go with what you're guided. And I can see that people, they don't actually, when they're in the right state of mind, they don't think so hard. They just go with it, and then they just banging out this grid, and then it's like, well, they can't believe they've done it themselves. So there's no need for a special stone, because they're all already with you to work with you.
Okay, so another question. So I'm a novice, I've got no idea, and I want to make a grid. So what do I need to do? I haven't got a board or anything to do a grid, so what shall I do?
You can make a grid anywhere. Sometimes I make them on the floor. I make them on a plate. I make them on a table. You just have to open your heart, open your mind, and ask your guides for guidance, and just sit with your stones. You can hold them in your hands, lots of deep breathing, relaxation, connecting, and then go with what you feel, because you know it all already. You do know what to do. So just take that deep breath and take a jump. Go for it.
Yeah.
It always works.
It's actually about not thinking about what you're doing, and that's the hardest thing to get people to do. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Just do it. And I loved what you said, actually, about 9 times out of 10 they've got what they need, and that that's sometimes more integral is the teaching factor, so people use what they've got rather than, like you say, it's not all about the cell, it's about instruction and teaching them to use what they've already got. I love that, because how many people, you go in and walk into a shop or something and it's sell. That's actually, when you're doing spiritual work, a lot of it is about helping somebody with recognise and understand the tools they've already got.
Yeah, exactly.
Bringing them
totally
to a place
agree.
where they can use those. Yeah. And like you said, Angela, 9 times out of 10, you will have what you need. You'll already have it.
Right, they're waiting for you to just use them, to work with them properly and not be afraid, not worry, I think I'm doing it wrong. So, I don't know if you're part of any of the crystal grid groups, but I've been in a few on Facebook, and there's always somebody, this is my first grid, it's not so good, and you just think, but it's so beautiful. Just take it and go, and take it.
I know. I have the same experience with meditation. Every week I run a group, and people say, oh, well, I didn't get very much, and they've been off somewhere in this beautiful wood, and they talk about the fairies and God knows what. Oh, well, that's all I got. And I say, that's all you've got?
What do you want?
No, what do you mean? It doesn't matter. It's the first thing that comes to you, and whatever it is, it's yours. So, and it's given to you for a reason. Yeah. So I totally agree with what you're saying, particularly about, in this instance, about crystals, and, it's already in you. It's already there. You just got to acknowledge it and switch it on.
That's it. Again, I think people often don't believe what's actually happening to them. They don't believe it. They're maybe thinking that it can't happen to me. If it can happen to me, it can happen to you. People say, why you? How come you have these experiences? And why not me? And why not you? Just prepare yourself to allow it to happen to yourself too. And when it starts to happen, don't deny it. Accept it.
And don't put yourself down about what you've done, because the smallest step could be the largest step, isn't it? With it,
keep diving, shock yourself, read it later on.
Angela, do you remember? It's a couple of years ago now. There was a Healing the Ocean crystal gridding group that had been set up, and we all people had to, didn't have to, but we were doing grids on a certain day for a specific intention. And loads of people made crystal grids. And I have to say, what I loved about that was watching everybody's different grids coming through. They were so diverse, so different, done in so many different ways. But how awesome was it? Do you remember that?
Was that with Christine Carr?
It was. That's the one I'm talking about, yeah.
Lovely. Some people had crystal dolphins and turtles and fish and sea animals. They were wonderful. But yes, it was amazing. It always is.
But it shows you the diversity of what everybody people create from their own energy signature, and how they were drawn to evolve their own grid for that particular intention. And as I say, it was so diverse. Everybody's was so different, but so fantastic to see those different energy signatures coming through. And I love that. Actually, I love that. I'm going to message Christine and say, you need to do another one of them, because that was awesome, right? Because it was a fantastic experience for all of us, actually. All of us who grid was watching this evolve. And on the day that we'd set it for, or she'd set it for, everybody was posting up their different grids from all around the world as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was lovely. That was such a nice service that she was doing there, actually, to clean the ocean up and send healing to the ocean. Was wonderful, really, really wonderful. Yeah, I remember it.
I remember that. Yeah, we need another one of them, I feel.
When you make a crystal grid, do you set an intention then when you do a grid? Is that how it works? Because I haven't done a lot of gridding, but I'm feeling like this is my next direction.
Yeah, you set intentions, if you came for healing, I would ask to be directed to make a grid for you, That's my intention. If you have said to me, I'm trying to find love, but every time I meet somebody, it's just another guy asking me to send funny pictures on the internet. And I just really want to get past that because it's blocking me from what I really want. I don't want to meet these people anymore. Then I make an intention on the grid for that. We just knock those fellas over and Mr. Right will come. Several Mr. Rights can come. That's how it goes. I can be open or I can be, what's the word I'm looking for? I can set the intention for you. But still, it's very personal, whichever way you go around it. It's all for you.
Mm. It's so interesting. I just think it's lovely energy. It's lovely feeling, isn't it? It just makes me feel I want to start now.
Yes, before you go to bed. Make a grid.
Yes, right now.
Exactly. Let's go do a grid, everybody. So, is there any physical illness that you've had to deal with that you found particularly challenging to deal with through healing work?
When children are sick, very seriously sick, if I don't tell people, oh, this person's going to, move on, they'll leave their body, their soul will leave them. I don't speak like that, I don't tell anybody that. But sometimes I've seen it, and that's very painful. So that's when I have to extend the healing to family members so they can deal with the loss, the separation from their loved one. But it's usually, it's not. It's children. It's everybody. Anybody who's loved, even animals. It can all be difficult if they're going to pass on. Yeah.
Yeah, it can be very personally affecting sometimes, can't it, when you have something like that come to you?
Yeah. I've learnt that not to go off and get down about it. I've learnt, understanding that the soul never dies, that we're just moving on, different bodies each time. That helps. I don't focus on endings. I focus on the new beginning and what's good for them in the future body, a healthier body, or a more advanced body, or something like this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a healthy attitude to have. Now, there has been a situation in the spiritual field recently that kind of rocked a lot of people. What I'm referring to is a very high-profile person. I'm not going to give them credence by naming them, but I'm sure you ladies know exactly who I'm talking about, that rocked the whole spiritual field and caused a lot of scaremongering among people that are not... They're worried about some of the comments that were made and has changed the spiritual world and basically called them out and said you're basically dealing with all like demons and you should embrace God and Jesus. And you did some quite extensive Facebook Lives on this particular topic. How have you felt the impact of that has had on the field? Because as I say, it was quite... I know I had a few emails about that, and I'm sure you did too. I know you did because you talked about it. But do you think that's just a flash in the pan scaremongering moment in the field, or do you think it strengthened it?
For sure, many were afraid and worried that they were doing something wrong. And for sure, there were many who joined that personality, that public personality, and decided, okay, we're all going to go this side of the field and say it's wrong. But they're also, it's a blip because it's so limiting to tell people you are wrong, what you do is not valid. It's just limiting, and who can see everything? Who can say, the that this is the right way only. There are many paths to wherever we're all going. Many paths. Now, how I walk on my path is not actually your business.
True.
I may walk slowly, or I may walk fast. That's my business. If you turn around and say, actually, your road is rubbish, it's not going to work, keep walking on your own. I'll see you when I get there. You're not better than me. I'm not better than you. We're all going to get there. So it was a blip. And it's just one person, even though it's one big person. But I feel that that person has, their own issues to deal with. And I hope it can be worked out, because it was so random, and there's just no way you can change everybody's lives by making such statements. You cannot. There's no way.
No, I'm totally agreeing with you.
And you know what? The spiritual energy, everything, these things are sent to try us, and there are so many people waking up to all this stuff. Yeah. How come one person's comments and it's just a blip? It's to make all the other people stronger. That's what it is.
We are given positions. From what I've learnt just from doing this work, we are given positions, we have to walk a straight line on the job we've been given to do. Like I said in the beginning, in a previous life, I messed up, and I got removed from my position. And I wouldn't. Does anybody really want to be? It's like people believe in a sort of hierarchy, but it's actually just, what's the hierarchy in this spiritual world? Is it money? Is it how much money you can earn that makes you better than other people on the path? So I think it would be very nerve-wracking personally to have had such a high position. I really believe that it would be, for myself, it would be nerve-wracking. If I were, all I can say is we can all be removed from whatever position we're put in. Nobody is indispensable.
No.
Angels know why they have,
There's a higher knowing, isn't there?
There's a higher knowing. They know why. What's going on, they know why it's happened. For the rest of us, we can only guess, but better not to be too disparaging. It's better to I have a respectful, I feel in my heart, I'm just feeling like I want it to be better for that person. That's my true feeling. I don't appreciate the fear that was sent out, but obviously there must be a problem why it was sent out. Because that wasn't when I'm trying to speak in without saying the person's name, but when that person was working at their best, boy, were they good.
Yeah.
And they taught a lot of people. So something happened. It was a side sweep, and now they're on the other side. Maybe because I understand that something similar may have happened to me in my past, and I try to be compassionate. At the same time, I feel a bit annoyed with the situation. In all truth, I feel annoyed because it frightened clients. It frightened people to say, "Hey, I just read this. It's a whole alphabetical ordered list of horror." It's just wrong. It's not correct behaviour. And I'll say that much.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think you're right. I think it was a blip, and I think it has thrown a few people that previously followed the teachings of this person, and it has thrown them a little. However, like you said, the work that was done before was phenomenal work. I would say the majority of people have got at least some of the tools that this lady has put out before now, and still use those tools. And no one would ever say, well, just because she's changed her pathway, those tools are now irrelevant. They're not.
No, they work.
They're still as relevant as they were. And like you just said, that they still work. So, and you're right, because we all have a personal development and a personal journey. she's doing it as a focal point because she is such a big player in the spiritual field, and it's playing out for everybody to see. But we see it in lots of other different fields, you know, from films and stuff like that. That these sort of things hit the media all the time. It's just that hit the spiritual field, and because it's a belief system, it kind of hits harder at times, doesn't it?
Yeah. You know, what do we believe in at the end of the day? I mean, I'm my personal self, I'm not a big Bible believer. I've been there, done that, my childhood. I'm not great thinking about things out of the Bible, I'll be honest about that. So it doesn't shake me. I've seen these things. I've, you know, not in this field, obviously. I'm trying to say things and be polite all the time, but I have been hurt by the Bible in my life also. Some of the things that are said in there, and I can't take it all to heart. I just walk away. I walked away and learned other paths and other ways, and I'm happy. And I just try to explain to other people: go read up, go look, pick up a different book, and have a look what it says in there. I read the Bhagavad Gita. I read in the Bhagavad Gita, the first chapter, first page, there was a seer, somebody who could see what was going on, and he was telling a king what was happening on the battlefield with Krishna and Arjuna. He was a seer. Nobody was saying you can't say this, you can't, you know, read this, you can't write that. It's allowed in the Bhagavad Gita, so I can't say I'm going to follow one book that I don't have much faith in. Other books are, you know, have all types of things in it, all types of descriptions of the life that I'm living, written about, and it's valid. That's good enough for me.
I totally agree.
Food for thought, isn't it? Yes, I agree.
Because whatever culture and whatever mythology you look at, there are common themes that run through it, and some resonate. And when you do start looking at the different cultures and how things have evolved over time, there are a lot of common themes. When at a time where there wasn't the geographical movement that we have in this day and age, so it does make you think. It opens your mind, and that's one thing you're always doing, isn't it? Is always reading and learning more. Just because you've got to this point with your healing process, it is still an evolution. You're still going to evolve that, because that's what you do as a spiritual person, isn't it?
Yeah, you have to. I mean, for your own good self, it's best. It's, you know, be on top of your game, in a sense, you know. Keep going forward. It's not just one book. It's not one crystal. You'll move on. You know, maybe the first crystal you'll get is an amethyst, and you get excited. People do, but now you're onto celestials, and you're like, wow. You just keep on going up and up and up. Keep climbing, keep looking, and ask yourself questions. Is this right? Does it feel good? You know, being damned and being told no, you can't do, is a perfect way to make sure everybody jumps in and does the thing anyway.
Yeah. You're right there.
It's true. That's what we always do. That's how we grew. Teenagers, you get to a certain age, you tell any age child, no, you can't do that. They're gonna go and do it.
Yeah, straight away. Yeah, it's like reverse psychology. Don't do that when they're gonna. Better to guide through that process rather than be, like you say, damning one way or the other. Better to guide through that process in a safe environment rather than point blank dictate, right?
Yeah. Be a rebel for yourself.
In a good way.
In a good way. Don't let anybody hold you back. Don't let anybody clip your wings. Go for it. Fly. I'm really not into anybody holding me back. No.
No one's holding Angela back.
No, don't try it.
So, what's next for you, Angela? What's next coming up for you in the next few months?
Oh, Well, I've been a bit lazy on the crystal sales. I've only been selling in the, well, I want to get back online with that. And I'm talking to a friend who wants to help me because it takes a lot of time to do, as much as I love it. And I really feel like it's something I should be doing, especially as I have a whole rack full of crystals that were brought to be sold. So they need to go out to their owners, whoever they are, go to their homes. And so that needs to be sorted. And I want to work more with children and anxiety. That's something that's, because it seems to be, well, I do a lot of work with adults and anxiety, and it seems anxiety is a big issue these days, and it's really very painful when you see children, having panic attacks, or not being able to leave the house, not being able to go to school, or not being able to associate with their peers because of anxiety. So I really want to bring healing in that field, actually.
I think that could be really beneficial, really helpful.
Yes.
It's becoming more and more of an issue for children, particularly, isn't it? Like all young teenagers.
Yeah. So
it'll be really good to see something a bit more natural, and
yes,
that would be good.
You don't want to see medication for everybody. If it's necessary and somebody has to take medication, I will never say no. But I think from what I've seen, the healing is also very medicinal, very healing. It can bring that calm into their lives. It can bring rationale back. And I love the results I've seen from it, and I really want to expand on it. And I'm talking to a few people about how to get that out. So that's a very exciting direction for me to go in, actually.
It sounds fantastic. And where can people find you, Angela, if they want to have a look? I've shared your Facebook link into the chat room. Is there anywhere else?
I'm on Instagram. Over there, I'm Angels Angela because the name was taken. And I'm on Facebook. And on Facebook, I mean, you look around, you'll find my phone number. I've not hidden it. It's and on Instagram, my phone number's there. Anybody can call me. Anybody can message me. I'm also Angela Pownall on Facebook. If you need help, I'll gladly help you. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been great to actually speak to you, having watched your journey over the last few years.
Thank you so
and it fascinates me how you work so closely with angels in the work that you do. Don't you agree, Claire?
Absolutely. Yeah. Keep up the good work, and
thank you.
Helping people, training people. You need to be all embracing it and getting out there and sharing it, don't we, really? Awesome. Lovely to talk to you, Angela.
Thank you. It's been great talking to you too, and I've really enjoyed this experience. Thank you.
Oh, fantastic. Well, don't forget, tomorrow evening on the Parasearch Radio group page, I will be going live once again to give you a weekly roundup of all the shows that will be coming up throughout the week. And until then, we bid you a very good farewell and good night, don't we, Claire? Good night, guys.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to join us for more shows throughout the week. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and the World Wide Web to keep up to date with all the shows right here on Parasearch Radio.